Welcome back to Jump Scare. I'm Betty.
And I'm Chad.
This week we cover Schlaf, aka Sleep.
Du hältst jetzt also deine Albträume für real?
Ich muss das verstehen, Mona, sonst kann ich das nicht ändern.
Was kann ich für Sie tun?
Was habe ich gesehen? Einen Sonnenhügel. Unser Hotel.
Auf Steinbach!
Auf Steinbach!
Aua.
Das ist die Tochter von unserem Notfall.
Hallo. Haben Sie was mitbekommen? Sie haben sich alle umgebracht. Überleg dir gut, was du jetzt machst. Du bist stark und gefährlich. Ich bin nicht wach.
Kennst du das, wenn du aufwachst und der Traum ist noch da?
Da unten im Tale das Wasser so trüb, und ich kann dir's nicht sagen, ich hab dich so lieb, und ich kann dir's nicht sagen, ich hab dich so lieb.
This film will be released on November 1st, out by Arrow Video.
Yep, it was released in Germany last year, and they're going to put it out November 1st. We were able to view an advanced copy of it. They were nice enough to let us take a look at one a little early.
And I'm glad that they did, because I don't know if I would have come across this film at all. I didn't really, 2020 kind of went by, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of things going on in 2020, so I can see where maybe this one didn't get as much press as it deserved.
It is an interesting film. Right off the bat, I'm going to say I enjoyed it. And
I did too. I haven't seen, I think besides that Nosferatu movie that Werner Herzog did, that may be the only other German horror movie I've seen.
I can concur. I think that's the only other German film that I've seen as well.
So yeah, it was good to see something different, and this one is very, like I said, it's very interesting. It has a very creepy feel to it.
So there's a small village that's being haunted by a demon, and a mysterious demon. Being a demon is not mysterious enough, but it's a mysterious demon. And it turns out that the nightmares of one of the characters involved are responsible for the dark events that are happening in that village.
Yeah.
There's a mother and a daughter, and the mother's having issues sleeping, where she's having these terrible nightmares.
You see the beginning scene of this won't spoil it, because it's in the very opening scene. They're sitting together playing Jenga, and the mom just pulls a piece out of the middle that would cause it to fall, and the whole thing is just suspended in midair for a second. And you're like, holy shit, what's going on? And then you realize, oh, she's having one of the dreams. But it's really creepy, because I've always wondered, you're playing that game, what happens when it doesn't fall, Yeah. It's super creepy.
Oh, it was directed by Michael Venus, who also co-wrote with Thomas Frederick. That scene you're like, what? Right off the bat.
Because I thought, is this going to be right off the bat, scene one, they're going to be like, okay, we've got some fucking demonic powers here, and we're going to use them.
Especially playing Jenga, you're like, I don't know.
Did they accidentally summon a demon with Jenga?
Well, yes. Don't you go Jenga, Jenga?
Oh,
There's a chant. So yeah, right off the bat, we're in a dream sequence. I love foreign films. Let's just throw that out there. We don't cover a lot of them. I feel like we do, but when it loses when there's dubbed. It loses the beauty of the language, and then also the translation sometimes is off.
And I hate watching movies where they're dubbed and it doesn't match up at all. I hate it when you see the person talk for their mouth moves for 30 seconds and then it says no.
Yeah.
That's not what they said.
Sometimes the film it's a completely different film. Yeah. When it is either, I remember I saw Let the Right One In, the original one, I saw it in its original language with the captions, right? Fine. Then I saw the English version, and it was a completely different movie. Let me tell you that the English version was actually not that good. Which is like, I already knew what was happening, because obviously I already had seen the film. And I watched it probably like a day later, because I was curious. But this film, obviously we, had captions. And they do speak English in some parts. There are some parts they go in and out of speaking English. But the beauty of a foreign film is they see things, differently. Like American horror films are mostly slashers. I mean, there's a lot of mix of stuff, but this film, like, it just visually, like, I thought it was haunting, like, beautiful.
Yeah.
And
it has a really, like, to me, it reminds me of some of the 70s movies, of the horror movies, things like Rosemary's Baby, The Hearse, ones like that, where it has that weird dream quality to the whole movie, even when they're not asleep. It has that people are just slightly off somehow, like they make you unsettled when she's talking to people, It's, you roll right off the bat that you don't want to be in this place.
I thought it was edited really well, because you couldn't tell at some points what was a dream and what was reality.
Yeah.
So the mom is having these dreams of these three men that committed suicide in a hotel. And she's been documenting her nightmares. Like, she has, I don't even know how many fucking journals, like so many journals, that she has drawings and, they're just all filled with drawings of this place that's haunting her in her dreams. And she just decides to, like, find the place. Her daughter's like, look, you just have, like, sleep deprivation. You need to go for, like, a sleep study. Get your shit fixed up. The daughter's really attentive and worried about her mom, obviously, because it's, like, affecting her life. And she goes and unbeknownst to her daughter, because I guess she travels for work, she goes and she finds the hotel, and she goes there, and she, kind of speaks with the lady that actually she was one of the daughters of one of the men.
Yeah.
A daughter of one of the men. And she kind of tells her, like, yeah, they all committed suicide.
Here's all their pictures in a nice row at the hotel.
And you're like, okay, that's kind of strange. And, she goes to one of the rooms, and she has, like, an episode, like, right off the bat. She can't even, like, fucking put her purse down before she's having some kind of crazy shit that's happening to her, where she sees, like, a boar.
It just comes walking out of the room,
like not a cartoon, like an actual boar, is just like, and she's like huddled, on the floor, all messed up, just staring at this, boar. And then she's in the hospital, and then the daughter gets the call, and she has to go over and find out, like, what's going on with her mom, who's, like, catatonic. She's in a stupor, as they said. And they don't know what happened to her. So the daughter ends up just staying there, obviously, to, maintain caring for her mom, and keeping her company. But she's staying at the hotel
as well. She's staying at the room right next to the mom's. So right off the bat, you get the idea this might not be a good place for her to stay.
No, because then, of course, now the daughter is having crazy fuck dreams.
Yeah, she starts seeing strange things. And, strangely enough, there's a small carved little figure of a boar sitting next to her bed. Like, this is probably not going to be important later.
Yeah, now, the film does, you don't really know what the hell's going on until, like, maybe the last, like, 30 minutes of the film.
Yeah, it takes a while for you to get... That's why I say it's such a creepy nightmare feel to it, because all these creepy things happen. And the worst thing to me is the daughter keeps having those dreams where you wake up and you think everything's fine, but you're still in the dream, and then you wake up again.
Yeah.
And then you wake up again before you realize that it takes like 2 or 3 times for you to wake up. And those are the worst for me, because I just always hate that. It's like, no, just wake my ass up. Don't leave me in the nightmare forever.
Yeah, get me out of here.
Yeah. One time waking up, that's it. I'm done.
Now, there is a dream, or maybe it wasn't a dream. We don't really know. I don't know. There's a orgy scene. Just gonna throw this out there. There's an orgy scene, and it is not graphic. It's, just a basic orgy, I guess.
It's your basic tasteful orgy.
Yeah, I don't know why, but when I was watching that scene, and I haven't seen this remake, but it reminded me of Suspiria.
Yeah.
It'd have like Suspiria, maybe because all the people just looked so angelic looking.
Yeah, everyone is very pale, very blonde, and everyone is very it's happening in a completely black void.
Yeah.
It's like you're happening in space or something. It's so black. And this orgy breaks out, and then you're not sure if this happened. Was this a dream? Was it not? So, yeah, it does have that Suspiria vibe to it.
You don't know. I mean, I had no idea. It's not really, it's just a dream or it's just an experience that occurred in the midst of this movie, but it doesn't anything to do with the plot, per se. I guess it's just one of those, like, things that just happen,
Sometimes you go to a new place, you run into an orgy. That happens.
Well, like in a lot of films, if there's some kind of mysterious demon or a witch, something maybe is seeking out for revenge. And this is a revenge film. And something happened to one of the residents of this place, many years ago, let's say like 40 years ago. And that person has decided to come back after, kind of like Freddy Krueger. This would be like the German Nightmare on Elm Street. Just streamlined, sophisticated, yeah.
Yeah, and it's more of this person coming back for revenge. They were wronged. Freddy Krueger got killed. He had that coming. This person did not have what happened to him coming. So you feel a little more for them because they're coming back from the grave for revenge, and deservedly so. They should be killing these people.
Yeah, and, there's a reason why the mother and daughter are involved with this whole thing. It's kind of like it was fated. That was, that was supposed to happen. And I guess when the mom wasn't able to carry out what needed to be done, that's when the daughter gets drawn in.
Yeah.
She gets pulled in, obviously, unbeknownst to her, because she doesn't really understand what's happening. Because, you have a bad dream, like you said, you have a bad dream, you get out of it, and then you just wake up and move on with your life. But you don't know in the film, like, they don't show her going to sleep a lot of the times. She's like doing her normal thing or whatever, and then the day's going by, and then some crazy fuck shit happens, and then she wakes up, and it's like, oh, okay, well, she was asleep now, but it's very interesting how they did it. They do it so well that it doesn't take you out of the film or like make you feel like you're on, like what the hell is going on.
Yeah, and like the color palette in it too is like everybody seems like the whole town seems kind of drab. Everything seems a little gray and off, like it would be like in a dream. It seems a little black and white, and then like there's no real color anywhere, like bright colors anywhere in the town, except for the hotel, which is the Steinbach is like in bright red letters. So that's the only thing that like color stands out in it. So it makes that place seem extra creepy among all the like dreary black and white kind of, just monochromatic color is then this blood red hotel. It's like, oh, this is not going to be a good place.
Yeah, I had no idea where the film was going to go. It had me like, I was just along for the ride. Kind of, I wasn't trying to solve the mystery, like I do a lot of the times. I was just like, okay, this is what's happening. And all right. And even the history of the people in the town, that kind of like, I mean, they're in Germany, so I mean, I didn't think too much of it, but it happened to be a thing. So I was like, okay, you know, every sect of people have their own like horror stories or, you know, like demons and stuff like that. So it was interesting to see like, okay, this person was wrong, but at the same time they're trying to get revenge, but are they also helping the people in the town? Because they felt like they were a sect of people in the town that were going to take their ideals to like another level, you know? So there's a lot going on.
And by getting revenge on these people for their murder, they're also going to be stopping something very bad from happening as well. But they're going to be taking out like the leaders of something that's going to happen. Okay, from this point on, we're going to talk a few spoilers about the movie. So if you haven't seen it yet, and I do recommend seeing it, pause this and come back after you've watched the movie. We'll wait. This is us waiting patiently. Okay, now you're back. Great. So, what has happened is that years ago, this woman, her name was Trude, was murdered by a man that she was having an affair with. And he just so happened to be at a costume party wearing a boar mask, which is the symbolism of the boar that we saw earlier. And he was with his friends when he did this. And she had her daughter there in the house. It was an infant that was his daughter. And he basically just turned on the gas and lit a candle and was going to let the house blow up with her body and the baby's body in it and kill them.
Well, it wasn't him. It was another guy. Was it him? I thought it was one of the friends had come back because he's like, I can't stop my friends. Like, I'm not going to do it, but I can't stop what they're going to do.
So, yeah, the friend was the one doing it. Sorry, I got confused there. And then the wife of the guy she was having the affair with comes in just before things are going to blow up. She pulls the baby out. And you had learned earlier that the mom had been found at an orphanage, just on the doorstep of an orphanage when she was a baby. And they had no idea what her family was or anything, because the doctors were asking the daughter, like, you have no family history of this? Like, you know, your mother's just gone to this coma after having these nightmares. Do you know anything about it in your family? This might be something that runs in the family. We need to check you for it. She was like, no, Mom was just found on a doorstep at an orphanage, so I don't have any idea.
Yeah, so dun dun dun, that's when you find out, oh, this lady that is like demon, ghost witch, whatever the hell she is, she's actually the mother of the lady in the hospital, and this is like her granddaughter. So, and that whole scene, they have the granddaughter sitting like she's in the dream, like she's in the past, like,
yeah, it's like
viewing this.
It's like she just time traveled back there and is seeing it happen.
Yeah, so she's not able to do anything. No one notices her. She's just there all discombobulated because in reality she had been thrown in a freaking dungeon, like with a rag stuffed in her mouth, and she's all tied up.
Because when she was talking to the people at the hotel, she started singing a song that the Trudy sang and saying the name, and the guy got freaked out by it and just knocked her over the head with a dinner plate.
Yeah, that scene was actually very awesome because she's talking to the wife. He had left a room to go get something. They were eating something. He went to go get like some dessert, and she is a vegetarian. But all of a sudden, she starts grabbing all the meat off the table, and she looks insane, and she's just talking crazy shit. So the wife is like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, she knows there's something crazy going on, and then the daughter whips out with the freaking boar out of her, pocket and shows it to her, and she's like me, like making weird like boar sounds.
Yeah, and then she starts making the creepy song.
And then when the guy comes back into the room, she stands up, and when she stands up, and they just did that, the editing is just freaking flawless. When she stands up, now she's Trudy.
Yeah.
She's no longer the girl, and he sees Trudy. He doesn't see, the girl that was there before. So that whole sequence is fantastic.
And we find out that how Trudy has been killing these people is she's been getting to them in their dreams, and she's been strangling them in their dreams just like she was strangled in real life. Because you see the guy, Otto, before he goes to bed at night, the wife is strapping his hands and arms down into the bed like in an asylum somewhere with the heavy straps so that he can't in the night when Trudy starts choking him, she basically takes over his body and makes him choke his own self to death. So she's got him strapped down so that he can go to sleep without having to worry about that, because he's figured out that Trudy's coming back from the grave for revenge.
Yeah, so that whole thing is just like mind blowing.
Yeah, and then you also find out that Otto and all of his friends were Nazis.
Yeah, they're Nazis, and they're having something like Noomsprung or
no, it was
Nuremberg.
He said it was your Nuremberg friends. Nuremberg was
friends.
a
yes, yeah. So they're all having a party, and they're trying to, get together and
just have a good time like Nazis do.
And yeah, so unbeknownst to them, you have the person that's in the kitchen serving up the shots of, schnapps and putting some psychedelics or poison. She says poison. In the caption says poison, but I don't think they died. I think they just got all drugged.
Yeah, because she not only, after she takes them all the shots and they've all had a chance to drink them, she starts like a flashing LED light and changes off the soft German music that was playing into like heavy metal, and just switches over, and she's got like flashing lights and heavy metal music playing, and everyone is just freaking the fuck out. And when they start to black out, of course, that's when Trudy starts coming back for revenge again. She can actually, murder Otto because he's asleep and he's he's not tied down. And the wife this time is not helping him, because he had gotten pretty shitty with her and kind of slapped her around a little bit and was like, I'm the boss here. You do what I say. And he's like, all right, I'll do what you say. And now she's just letting him choke himself to death in there.
Yeah, because you see it's, what they show him in the bed at the beginning, kind of not so much in the beginning, but throughout the film when they go to bed, she, like you said, she ties him up. Yeah. So, and you're like, what the hell is she tying this man up? But yeah, you come to realize she has to, because all the other schwumps, the other two guys, they killed themselves, and that's because it was Trudy going through in their dream, making them kill themselves.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger style. She strangled them in their dreams, and then they killed their own self by either hanging themselves or strangling themselves in the night.
And because he's been able to elude this for God knows how long, now that's why she had started showing these the suicides and these nightmares to her daughter. Started viewing them, Marianne, and now Marianne's daughter, Trudy's granddaughter, starts also seeing them too, to kind of help her get him to kill himself, because she can't do it by herself. So the whole thing is just very interesting how, she's able to do this. The explanation, if you're a person that needs explanations about how did she have powers to do this? Was she a witch? Is she a demon? They don't fucking explain that, okay? That's you're just taking it as it is and going with it. The synopsis says it's a demon, so just go with a demon. I wouldn't say demon, because I feel demon someone that's never human. That's someone earthly, being that lives in hell or whatever, and it's never been an actual human, but that's just me. I would say that she was more like a ghost witch.
She's more the ghost witch, or, I don't know, like Freddy Krueger was a ghost, technically. I mean, they said a dream demon, but dream ghost, same kind of thing, But
dream demon.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a very creepy movie, and it's not the fastest paced movie in the world, but at the same time, it never feels like it drags. It never feels like we got to get through this scene or anything like that. But it has its own, kind of unique pace to it, but it works with it.
Yeah, it does really work with it. The only issue I had with the film is the film ends and you're like, okay, but then it doesn't end. There's post credits, and then you're like, wait, what? And you're kind of like left with, what the fuck was that about? I thought this was all over.
But I kind of look at that too, kind of like some of the Freddy Krueger and Phantasm and ones like that are dream things where Phantasm's over, and then it's boy, and he pops back in.
And
so
drags him into the mirror.
Yeah, I kind of look at it like that. This is their version of that.
Yeah. I don't hate it. I just...
That part I would like a little more explanation to.
Yeah, because you think it's over, and it's not. She sees the boar. She's, you think it's not a dream. You don't know if it's a dream or not a dream. It's very ambiguous. The ending is ambiguous. And maybe if you don't want to see said ambiguous ending, you just see the end of the movie, mom and daughter reunite, and then you just turn it off. Then the movie's over. But it was actually a very enjoyable film. I'm very glad that I was able to view it, and I give it 3 solid knives.
Yeah, I give it 3 out of 4 knives as well. And this would be one I might pick up because I'd be interested to see some of the behind the scenes stuff on it.
Yeah, the film is called Schlaf.
Or Sleep. It is hard to find if you look up Sleep, because when we first got it, I was trying to find out information on it, and there's so many movies called Sleep or that have to do with sleep that when you just type in Sleep movie or that, it is not easy to find. So look up Schlaf and you'll find it much easier.
Yes. I also maybe Sleep 2020.
That might help too.
That might help too if you really, but it's an Arrow video release. Yep. And it will be released on November 1st. Check it out. And stay tuned to the horror.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.